this meeting of the Board of Trustees. As trustees, we are here to set goals, listen to the report from the superintendent, approve budgets, contracts, personnel appointments, and make policy for the district. It is not the role of the board to make day-to-day operational decisions. The management and day-to-day operations of the department are the responsibility of the superintendent. We have policies and procedures in place to resolve concerns and issues. This is a public meeting of the Board of Trustees, not a meeting of the public. Prior to this meeting, board members received information related to items on today's agenda. Agenda items will not necessarily be handled in the order listed on the notice. The meeting is open to all who wish to attend and hear the matters discussed. During the course of this meeting, the board may determine that a closed session is necessary. In that event, the board will meet in closed session to consider matters duly posted for this meeting as permitted by section 551.071 to 551.084. Inclusive of the Texas Government Code. I respectfully ask that you please refrain from talking while others are speaking and that cell phones are turned off or in silent mode. Thank you for taking time today to join us and for your interest in the Harris County Department of Education. Thank you all for being here. We will start with the invocation by Chandra Powell and then the Pledge of Allegiance by Shelby Trahan.
Please bow. Father, thank you for this opportunity. And thank you, Father, for our leadership team. Thank you for the staff, and thank you for those who are present here today. And God, most importantly, we thank you for those we get to serve and to provide services for. God, we ask that you would bless our leadership team with wisdom, that they may know how to govern policies and projects and people properly and appropriately. And Father God, we just say thank you for this opportunity to come together as a board. I pray that all issues presented, God, we will have a solution. And I pray that you would bless this organization in abundance, that we have an abundant supply, more than enough, that we can do more than enough. And Father, I ask that you give us strength to endure, strength to keep hoping, and strength to keep helping. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you so much to both of you. Item 4, open forum. We do not have any participants or visitors to address. Reports and presentations. Are we going to go forward, Sarah, with the? Okay, yeah. We have a presentation from Create Architects for the Irvington Building remodel presentation.
Mr. Vela, do you know if they came today? I know they were expecting to present on the Irvington renovations. So,
I think that if I may, Roger.
Come up to the mic.
Roger had a death in the family and had to leave emergency to El Paso, so I don't think they were going to be able to make it. And they were just, it's just Jerry right now, and I think he's trying to cover for Mr. Brownlow. So I was hoping we could reschedule that presentation to next month. That's
Yes,
all right.
sir. That works.
Thank you.
Then moving on, item 5B, we have a report from the superintendent.
Thank you, President Duhan. Just a few things to present. First, I'd like to recognize two hires that we've made this month. We've been working diligently trying to get positions filled. Some shoes are harder to fill than others. First, would like to recognize and welcome back Dr. Eduardo Arnold. Could you please stand? Is our I guess, new or returning senior director for our adult ed program, and so we're looking forward to him. He's going to have an incredible building here in a couple of weeks, we hope. Also, I'd like to recognize our new principal for ABS West, Mr. Jatada Hutton. Let's give him a hand. he is on the books, he is checking in, and he is working, right, Mr. Hunt? Yes, because we got plenty of vacancies over there that we need to fill. You know, we've added a tremendous number of positions on that campus, and so the principals are working very diligently to try to get these vacancies filled, because we're getting to the second half of the summer and it's difficult to do that. Having said that, I also like to thank the board for allowing me to call a special board meeting to get those positions pre-approved so we could stay in the fight and trying to maintain a high-quality staff at our campuses. The only thing I'd like to speak to is this past week, I had an opportunity to go to the Summer Leadership Institute in San Antonio. Summer Leadership Institute is conference specific for school board members. They have one in San Antonio for really all the school districts south of Austin, and they also have one in Dallas-Fort Worth for the school districts north of Austin. Texas has over 1,030 school districts. When I worked in Tennessee, they had 128. Virginia has 133, something like that. That's how big Texas is. So there were probably about 7,000 to 8,000 board members at the Summer Leadership Institute in San Antonio. We had the privilege, Harris County Department of Ed had the privilege of actually doing a presentation in one of the breakout sessions at this conference. We felt like we had a unique story to tell. Out of all those school districts, Harris County Department of Ed has a very, very unique board. First, our board is partisan. You have to run a primary and then be the Republican or Democratic nominee and then get elected in a general election to get on this board. The second thing is our board members serve 6-year terms. Most board members serve 2 to 3 years. And so that could be good or bad. You never know. 6 years is a long time. But the other thing is that our board gets a phenomenal number of votes. Just by raise of hands in our committee, I think the largest vote count that any member in our session got was 20,000. And our board members get anywhere from 100,000 to 800,000 votes to get on this board to serve the people sitting in this audience today. So we actually did a presentation talking about what happens when the D and the R merge together to actualize the commonality of being a public servant and what that looks like. And the people who work for this organization long enough have seen every facet of this organization as our board has gone through this transition. And so we did a phenomenal job, if I do say so myself, and we've gotten a tremendous amount of positive feedback. Very well respected. We even had a school district, a large school district, ask me if we would do a presentation to his board because he thought it would be that beneficial if we could do that same presentation at their retreat. And so I just want to thank the board for a couple things. One, I want to thank them for accompanying me to this conference. And I've been a superintendent for over 12 years. I've been here for around 9 years. And the dynamics that we have in our trustees right now is one where they're willing participants in growth and representation. And going to San Antonio for 2 to 3 days is an example of that. But I also want to thank our trustees for representing us well. One of our dynamic strategies in trying to be exceptional is to be out front and center. And who would have thought that the board would be part of leading the charge in doing that? And although we only had 2 board members that were actually presenting, all of our board members accompanied there were participating at either through support or through helping us facilitate the meeting. And so to our board members, thank you so much. I appreciate you. And that's all I have.
I just want to add that it was really great to learn all that we did at that Summer Leadership Institute. It was fantastic. Thank you. Next, we have the annual division update from Choice Partners.
Good morning, Board of Trustees, Mr. Colbert, Ms. Langlois, and HCDE leadership. My name is Jeff Drury. I think I've probably met most of you at some point in time. Anyway, I'm going to give you a little bit of an update on Choice Partners, kind of what's happened the last year, numbers, and what we think is going to happen, what we're looking to do in the future. I have 11 slides in, about 5 minutes or so. So that's 30 seconds a slide, and you people know that I can't talk that fast, but I'm going to try. Yeah, I know that. I heard, I won't even, I was going to tell another joke, but I can't even go there, 'cause I don't have time. Dude, where do you get this clock? Okay, first of all, I get to say all the good things about us, but I'm one of 19 in our group, and I would like to have them stand up and be recognized, the members that are here. We've got a lot of people traveling, but we've got a number of our folks here. So, without this group, we wouldn't be doing anything. I mean, everybody, every single person's instrumental. Everybody's doing something, a lot of different tasks, a lot of different responsibilities. We have a tremendous team. So this picture was taken high atop the 34th floor, I believe, of the HCDE building. You see in the background all the skyscrapers. Anyway, joke number one, I know. But we do like to have fun. This is just a quick opposite picture of our Choice Cash rebate rollout last year, with everybody with their money shirts on and that big dollar sign and all of our bags. I have these $100 bills all over my office if anybody wants one. I will not take responsibility if you try to pass it off somewhere, but we do have a bunch of these around. This is our org chart. Like I said, 19 people. Just real quickly, I'd like to say in the org chart, if you notice, all the squares that are outlined in red are new people within the past year. We've got 18, 19 people, whatever, 9. So that's about 50% of our group has turned over. So we have still maintained a good production from our team. And anyway, just we've had a lot of turnover, and we just keep on rolling down. We've hired some tremendous people, and we're gonna got one open position, a general clerk, and we've got one lady starting on the 26th Monday. So anyway, just a quick visual of who we are, what we are, how we look. And one other real quick thing is, in the past we had one assistant director that kind of handled what we call our commodities and construction. That was Joanne. Everybody probably remembers Joanne. And then we had Tricia handling all the food. We've kind of split that up to where we've got Stephen Kendrick managing all the facilities construction, Jane Lopez with the commodity side, and Tricia still with the food, doing a very, very good job. Okay, this is a slide. This is kind of a standard slide, a little bit about who we are. I won't read it, but this is a lot of what we do. I just want to make sure I'm trying to stay in the time. We have what we call vendors. We have what we call members. We work with both of them. We do the billing, and we basically charge a small admin fee on top on the activity, and it's charged to the vendors. I know it's probably a review for a lot of you guys, but there's new people here. Actually, I'm probably trying to train a few of these new Choice Partners folks that started a couple of days ago. Not, but anyway, we've got new faces all the time. But that's a little bit about what we do. You guys have seen things like this in the past, and I just went back 6 years, but I want you to realize what we're doing there. We had the one big year, one big jump in Hurricane Harvey. We did a lot of tremendous work helping people get back up and going after Harvey, but we've kind of continued an uphill climb, continued to kind of have the trend upward, and also while maintaining our expenses pretty much on a straight line. And so if you want real numbers, I'll be happy to supply those or whatever, but these are representative graphs. Fiscal year 2023 is projected. This is including 9 months of the year, extrapolated through the full year. All right. This is something I haven't really talked about a lot in the past, but margin per employee. People are like, well, y'all do stuff, but what does it really do or whatever? These are numbers. The little number in the black, the 17, 18, 19 is kind of our full-time employees. And then the orange bar is basically per employee, kind of what the average margin above all of our expenses, the salaries, the cost of consultants, field reps, all the burden charges for office space, just everything. So it's just kind of a neat little visual to show you that, actually back probably 2013, 10 years ago, we were at probably 112, 113 per employee. It was quite a bit less. It was 118 10 years ago. We're projecting about 203 for this year. So that's about double as far as productivity. People always say, how productive are you? What are you really contributing? These are productive numbers that go to help HCDE and everything else after paying our salaries and after paying our consultants and all that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a neat visual that I haven't shown in the past, and I thought it might be a nice little thing to kind of look at. Now, the next slide is going to be kind of interesting. I mentioned just a second ago we charge a fee. Somebody sells $100,000 worth of stuff, services, construction, food, whatever. We charge a little fee on the side. 6 years ago, that average blended rate of that fee was about 2.37%. There's been a lot of pressure, a lot of competitive pressure, a lot of guys joining people and getting bigger and race to the bottom, I hate to call it, but we've been forced to get a little more competitive, and so you see 2023 year to date, we're at 1.6. That's a 0.77 drop, and if you take that in real numbers, that's 32% drop in how many dollars we get for every dollar that somebody sells. I don't know, say you're making, pick a number, $100,000. If you made $100,000 in 18, how easy would it be to live on that, $68,000 this year? That's kind of what this is representing. And so we're still either maintaining or even increasing the total dollars, the average margin per employee, with this declining admin fee rate. So it's a very tough market. I'm not here to say poor us, because we're all working through it. We got a hard-working group back here, but just kind of a visual of what the fees used to be like in the past. We used to get 3 and 4% on a lot of the construction. A lot of that competitors have gone to flat 2%, and we're losing people because they say, I'm going with that guy because he's 50% less than your 4% on a fee. So anyway, just another visual that I think I haven't shown in the past, but it's kind of representative of some of the competition and some of the price degradation that we've seen over the past couple of years in the market. Key highlights. Just a couple of the bullets. I'll read them. I probably won't spend a lot of time discussing them or talking about them. But $1 million months, those have kind of always been our watershed as far as $1 million in billing, our fees, not activity. And so we've had 3 of those in fiscal year 23. That's the first time ever in Choice Partners. I think we have had a 2 in a year before during the Hurricane Harvey, a lot of that work. Huge new vendors, 2 of the top 4. You guys probably recognize these next 2 names. And Apple, I'm sorry, how do I go back? All right, there it is. Apple just came on with the May 17th board meeting. Amazon's been on about a year, growing, just growing fantastically. Looking at a lot of new initiatives with Amazon also. Apple, we're still figuring out, all what's going on, but they've been very complimentary of Choice, and I think they're very interested in in working with us moving forward. I said, 50% of the staff turned over in the past year. I put that on a highlight, only the reason being we don't like losing staff. We've had a lot of, in fact, a couple of people in this picture. This is Convocation last year. A couple of people in this picture from Convocation, not a couple, a bunch of them, 4, 5, 6. Some of you may recognize, Joanne right in the middle, next to Mr. Colbert. But a lot of these people are gone from last year, and we wish them well, but we don't see it as poor me. We see it as an opportunity. Maybe we can find somebody out there. Maybe there's somebody that brings in fresh ideas. Sometimes maybe my ideas are stale. We bring in new people and they say stuff, and I'm like, man, I'm glad you thought of that. I always think of it, but you're kind of framing it different, and and it helps us improve, it helps us grow, it helps us change, helps us adjust to the marketplace or see things from a different set of eyes. So I see it really as an opportunity to, as a staff turnover, and so we're fairly well staffed up, and knock on wood, hopefully nobody's giving me a letter tomorrow or anything, but we'll see. So anyway, so those are some of the highlights that we've had. Some of the future plans, the rebates, that's kind of current, but future, because we haven't issued any checks or gone through all of the work, all the discussion, things like that. That'll be a whole lot of work later this year, going through that, determining all the dollar amounts and things of that nature. I can't even speak. More digital, I just talked about online marketplace with Amazon. We've had a couple of meetings on some opportunities to expand some of the MeeBee Hub SBE initiatives. Just through feedback through the marketplace, discussions with Amazon, we think there's some real opportunity there to really blow up possibly some choice partners, awarded contract holders, or people out in the marketplace, whether they're local or other parts of the state also. That's a work in progress. Just continued growth and expansion of markets and contracts. That's kind of a generic statement, but we're always trying to expand geographically, different parts of the country, different contracts. Some of the holes, I've mentioned it before, the cities, counties, things like that, we still need to get after. Competitive threats, this is kind of a mini SWOT analysis, if y'all will, but competitive threats, you saw the admin fee, the continual erosion of the percentages, consolidation of competitors. It's probably slowed down a little bit, but there's still a lot of, guys bigger than us being bought by guys that are 20 times our size, and we're out competing against these people. They can spend money like a drunken sailor, so to speak, and so, we're trying to always operate as efficiently and compliantly as we can, and so it's a task, and a lot of these folks right here hear me stressing every day about it, but that's what we do. And one thing, there's a new bullet, recent surge of, I call them clearinghouse sites. It's kind of like at one time, the co-op didn't exist, and then you have these government entities, and they say, oh, let's go use a co-op, that's easier. Now we've kind of even evolved to the next little kind of cottage industry. We have these entities, and I'll call one out by name because they're kind of friends of ours, and we know them, Compare Co-ops, and what they do is they take all these co-op contracts and they aggregate them and put them on their site for people to come use, and and they're becoming very, very popular. We see them at all the trade shows. Lady called me from Chicago about an hour ago asking questions with one of those companies, and so they're just another factor that we're dealing with. And guess what? They don't want to do it for free. They want a piece of our fee. So again, everything kind of keeps coming down. So we're always trying to. We've got to. You hate to say you make it up with volume, but we've got to increase the volume to combat some of these fees all the time. So we're always on the hunt to try and penetrate, especially local, where we call this kind of our home base, the Houston metropolitan, Harris County area, central South Texas, and still continue to grow geographically also. So I think that is it. I don't have a clock on, but I think I'm probably close to the 5 minutes. Whose time? Venetia? Used to have Carl over there with a little ding, and that ding was always about the third slide for me, and so.
Do we have any questions?
There we go.
So,
Yes.
good to see you, Jeff.
You too, sir.
So the outside pressure to reduce the fee, the industry pressure to reduce our percentage, what strategies do we have to get around that? Or I guess our strategy is just make up for it in quantity?
We've been drug kicking and screaming. I mean, kicking and screaming, and a lot of the guys that have been around a while, they know, they're like, I'm like, I don't want to be the bottom feeder. We don't want to be the bottom leader. But when you hear it time and time and time and time again from people that that are used to working with you, and whether they're a trade jock or a full jock, and they were at 4% in like construction in the past, or 3% or whatever, We say, hey man, we know you, what's going on? Well, everybody else is at 2, and I'm at 4, I'm at 3, and
How about a stair step? Have you thought about a stair step? It starts off at one amount, and after certain accomplishments, it increases to another amount.
we have incentive clauses built into just about every contract we have, that it'll start at a number and it'll go down from there. But
Could it go up? Maybe start at a number and go
Sarah,
up.
can it
after
go
some-
up? She knows our contract. It's always a not to exceed number that we write the contracts at. It's a not to exceed fee, because we see these terms and conditions all the time where they say, well, they want to say, well, we want to make sure the fee can never go up, and so we've changed the language in the past because that has been a sticking point. Going up is tough. I would love to be able to do that. If you have a way, let's talk about it.
This is
Yeah.
the board's chance, to
Oh,
engage
absolutely.
with y'all, and I'm the few
I know
moments
nobody
here.
likes seeing the slide down. I get that part.
Oh, and I understand it. So, what can we do to increase quality? I know Deming, which is an author on
Charles
quality. Yeah, on quality.
Very
What
funny.
can we do to increase quality with choice partners? That might be one way to minimize the reducing rate that we have.
We already, I'd like to almost make a tagline for Choice Partners. We're not the biggest, but we feel like we're the best. We already feel as though we're probably as compliant or as good as anybody in the marketplace as far as the quality of contracts, thanks to someone sitting right here at the front board. She does a very, very good job, not only writing the contracts, but also negotiating with some of these big guys. Just, they'll say, well, I don't think we're going to do that. And she's like, yeah, I think you are, if you want to remain compliant. Yeah, no, she's not that nice. And I'm like, it scares me, and I'm not even, it's, I guess part of it, I couldn't even tell you, maybe more messaging, a crazy all-out blitz. We've basically had field reps in the state of Texas only in the past, so to speak. That would be options to look at to open offices more geographical areas, some of the neighboring states, or maybe another state or two where we're strong in. And I would love to say we can and will reverse the trend of the admin fee percentage, but we haven't been big enough per se to kind of be the market, like you have in the stock market, you have the market makers. We have never been a market maker because some of these guys have 30 and 40 lead agencies and coast to coast, and they've got 40, 50, 60 reps out across the country, and they spend money like it's crazy, and it's just being a governmental entity and operating under the structure that we do. We just haven't just gone crazy like that, and so we continue to grow. We continue to grow geographically, but I'm all open for questions. For suggestions. But yeah, we haven't been able to stem the tide. It's just something, and with some of the really, really large guys, it probably will get a little more competitive over time too.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yes, sir, Mr. Norris.
I just wanted to say that to remind the board that choice is kind of like Harris County Department's flanking move. It's the one thing that we actually really push to be for-profit. It's the thing that allows us to build an adult ed building, a new middle school, a new ABS East. But it's also the thing that allows us to continue to shave away at the tax rate. It supplements our general budget. We balance the books at the end of the year. One of the things that makes our choice unique from other buyer co-ops is many of the other buyer co-ops are for-profit, but they're also making commission, have quotas, bonus checks, all of that stuff. All the commission that we make with choice goes back into like our savings account, and we use that to build buildings. And so it makes us unique and different. And so I truly value all of our employees in choice. They do a phenomenal job, and we have a very loyal following And they recognize them every year and celebrate the relationship between them and us. And we try to demonstrate how we're using those profits to try to make a dent into society and not just to make a profit, and that we're actually using that profit for something. So it's part of our business model. And so thank you, sir, and thank you to your staff for all that you do.
Okay. Did you have a question? No? Did you have a question?
Thank you, President Duhan. Good afternoon, Jeff.
Yes, hello.
I was just curious, what do you see being the leading cause for us to have a 50% turnover rate in the past year?
We've had a couple of retirements. Work from home, that's a bad word, but work from home, making more money, sitting at home in their pajamas. That's literally almost 100%. One internal transfer within HCDE, and I think that will just account for pretty much everybody.
Are we working on anything to secure our staff for the long haul?
Yes, I think so. Jesus is nodding his head.
Yeah, you'll hear more about that when we do our budget work sessions. We've been working very hard at it. And so, I've talked to the board about this last year. One of the big things that we're dealing with is age. I mean, people are at that time.
I agree.
They're ready to take it to the house. And so our goal is certainly to try to honor them and keep them, retain them, develop them, but when necessary to be able to appropriately replace them also, and bring in people who can maintain and protect the integrity of our organization or the brand. And so every division in Harris County Department of Ed is going to be faced with that. We have a phenomenal staff, and part of the reason why our staff is so good is because they're seasoned veterans. We don't have a lot of rookies. We've got some pros, and those pros are ready to take it to the house. So Jeff's got his hands full.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Drury. Now, do we have a report for the Communications and Client Engagement Division?
Good morning, Madam President, members of the board, Mr. Colbert. We are actually two divisions that get squished into one presentation, so we're going to take 11 minutes. Just kidding. We'll be as quick as we can. My name is Danielle Clark. I'm the Chief Communications Officer, and I have the pleasure of overseeing both communications and marketing and client engagement. Ms. De Los Santos and I are going to tag team on the presentation for you today. I'm going to do communications as our Director of Communications, Dave Einsel, is not here today. So we'll let Ms. De Los Santos start it off.
To be exact, Jeff spent 13 minutes. And that's not even counting the answers that he gave a little bit ago, so that's quite a bit. Well, that was not a tough act to follow. Did I really say that? I'm just kidding. Jeff is always a tough act to follow. You can pay me later, Jeff. After all, he did get 3 $1 million months, and you can't beat that. I think I can, and I'll share with you in a little bit why. But we do have a great working relationship with Choice. We like to pay each other back with swag, so I'll expect some swag on my desk. Speaking of swag, each one of you has swag at your place. I hope you enjoy what we have there, but that's just some of the cool things that we were able to put together for you. So, President Duhan, Board of Trustees, and Superintendent Colbert, this is just a little token of saying thank you. Venetia, we also included you because you do a lot of work with the board, and we wanted to make sure that you were included as well. I'd like to give a special shout out to President Duhan for joining us at the picnic parking lot at MPO. I got to spend time with her little baby, Duhan, and he ate my necklace, so that was fun. I really do appreciate all of you and all that you do for HCDE. Today, I'm happy to introduce to you our team for Marketing and Client Engagement. I'm Stephanie De Los Santos, the Director of Marketing and Client Engagement, and as I call your name, I'm just going to ask my team to stand up. We have Janet Walks, who's the Assistant Director. We have Andre Cuellar, who is the Marketing Coordinator. Hugo Jimenez, the Marketing Coordinator. Teresa Juarez, Client Engagement Coordinator. We're kind of spread around. And two of our newest employees, we have Mark Perez, who's a Translations Coordinator, and Lynette Gonzalez Tonsel, who's the backbone of our division, Administrative Assistant. We have a full team. I feel like we're on the Voice where you can say, my team is full. I love it. So our division goals, we want to continue marketing support for our enterprise and revenue generating divisions, which is Choice Partners and Records Management. We also have CSSS and CES. We'd love to increase marketing support for other divisions, which we do work with several other divisions, and we support the overall marketing efforts of HCDE. So how do we support HCDE? This is how we support. I won't go through all of them. You do have it in front of you, but I will say trade shows and conferences are huge, promo items, advertising, marketing campaigns, etc. And I think I do know that Eric Dick will have questions for us, so I'll be ready at the end. An easy way to know the difference between marketing and communications is that we are the call to action. And when Danielle speaks, she's going to talk about the storytelling side of things. So key highlights for this year. In the spirit of competitiveness, Jeff, I'm going to go quickly, okay? I'll beat you. MCE played a key role in Choice Partners rollout for the rebate program and for Amazon with the marketing campaigns. We successfully helped launch iPass with the Business Services Office and also Adult Ed's FMLI program. And we're doing something else with Adult Ed, and I'll talk about that in a minute. We produced 25 newsletters, one for newsletters for Leaders' Choice, CSSS, and Records Management. As a marketing person, I really love new processes, so we've streamlined some more new processes this year. Last time we spoke, there were different ones, but we have, I definitely have charts for conference schedules, translation services, podcast schedules, and HubSpot, which is a new one that we're doing as far as integrating our CP vendors into the system. So this is by the numbers. As you notice, you have swag. We are the distribution center. I know that's a big title, but I think it sounds good. we do have swag at in our division, and we give this out for every trade show that we go to. We've been to 18 trade shows, and we approximately have about $10,000 value of swag that we push out at all of the trade shows. So another by the numbers, we have sent out more than 300 e-blasts. We've sent out 16 podcasts, 20 plus events, and here's where I'm going to put the plug in. We're a call to action. So board members, you should have received an invitation for the At Last Class of 2023 Adult Ed graduation for this Saturday, January 24th. We will have a seat reserved for you if you attend, so we'd love for you to be there to support adult education. We've assisted in the planning, and we also serve on the day of the events. Also, by the numbers, we have done more than 150 phone calls and welcome emails to new CP members. Remember, this is only for the 22-23 school year. 30 translations since February, 80 plus advertisements in different magazines. And LinkedIn, we've had 100 plus posts. So right now we have a total of 4,310 followers, but just this year alone, we had 1,345 new followers. Engagement, 20.8%. Page views, 8325. Total impressions, which is a big number, 49,686, as you can see there. This is the end. What we're looking forward to is more conferences, more presentations, and increasing the number of social media posts and instructional videos, divisions we support, and advertisements. Now I'll hand it over to Danielle. I do want to say this is us in a nutshell, and the questions will come after her presentation.
Thank you, Stephanie. Okay, so communications and creative services, like Stephanie said, this is the PR arm of CCE, which we call as communications and client engagement. So this is our team. As I said, Mr. Einzel's out today, but the rest of our team is here. Would you please stand? These are the writers, the graphic designers, the website content managers, photographers, and our videographers. Gotcha. Thanks, guys. This is what communications does. So in a nutshell, I'm not going to read it to you. This is pretty much the same as last year. We do all internal and external communications for the department, as well as all publicity and promotion and media relations. So if you think of anything external, we're the ones pushing out the information. So we're going to give you a little, we're going to fly high today. Most of you have heard this presentation before, and so you know kind of who we are and what we do and the quality of work. Today we're going to give you the scope of what we do. We manage the website, which is 233 pages and has 1.2 million page views per year. Our social media, these are our followings. Instagram was newer this year, and so you'll see it's a little bit slower, but we're definitely getting up there, and I just want to say we have 2 people that do all of those posts. This is the big piece. We have 6,700 printed pieces that we have produced for the department and its divisions. You'll see a lot of different numbers up there. 25 special reports, 26 presentations, 44 connector newsletters, 173 flyers, 209 signs. That is everything from the Coolwood sign to a poster that you would see at an event, and 26 banners. That is not all inclusive. We've done brochures and programs and invites and save the date. This is just a little bit of an idea of what we've done. These are our digital assets. So every week, the staff gets an internal newsletter, the Hub, 44 of those. Whenever a division wants to do a social media post, our graphics team steps up and does a special graphic for whatever it may be. We're working on one right now for Head Start enrollment. And our 2 writers wrote, actually 1 writer, Shelby came on about 3 months ago, but 190 stories. So those are on our web post, on our blog, as well as you will see them weekly in the connector. Here's our awareness campaign. We continued that this year. We had 20 rotating billboards, over 1,000 TV spots and radio spots, 18 social media campaigns. Those included carousel ads, Google CPC, which is pay-per-click, PPC, pay-per-click ads as well. And our reach was 1.53 million and engagement was 169,000. The difference between that is the reach is how many people actually it reached, and 169,000 people engaged with the ad on social media, like, comment, forward, share, however. Our videos. Our 2 videographers produced 105 different videos. These are a selection of them. You guys are well acquainted with Debbie and Mitzi. And communications did 9 individuals events. We tag team with client engagement. The largest, which is convocation, which a plug is in 7 weeks now. Looking forward, we're looking to always expand our content across all of our channels. We're going to redesign and launch our new intranet. The contract will be coming to you next month for that. We have been fortunate enough to have a FTE transferred to communications to plan all of our events in the division, in the department. So they'll be doing convocation, adult ed education, picnic in the parking lot, board appreciation, things like that. That person will be doing. We're looking forward to our ribbon cuttings and our open house events, Mr. Vella, when the buildings open, and we're going to continue with HR on our employee recognition events, Employee of the Month, and our Celebration of Excellence. And that is it. We have questions. What questions do you have for me?
Sure. Okay. Okay, so let's go into it. With the LinkedIn, I think that wasn't...
That's Stephanie.
Stephanie, so for LinkedIn...
Yes, sir.
Are you utilizing a Phantom Buster?
Well, we're actually going to try to do more with LinkedIn. This is just the basic right now, but we're working towards doing a lot more with LinkedIn.
So to compare LinkedIn, I have 22,000, 23,000 followers on LinkedIn. So the way I get there is I use Phantom Buster, which is a vehicle that you can utilize with LinkedIn to, add people to it. I also use Crowdfire to have automated messaging that goes out. Those are the 2 things I do, and that works really well with LinkedIn.
Ugo, will you take note of that? Ugo is our LinkedIn manager in our division, so.
And with Phantom Buster, you can obtain information of your followers, including their email address, phone number, a lot of information from them. And you can further utilize that with other things you're doing.
Thank you for that. We appreciate that. I do want to note something interesting with LinkedIn, with the job searches. We had a lot of, you saw on the screen the job page views. A lot of the searches are coming from outside of Harris County. I mean, we're talking Boston, New York, and then we also had San Antonio, Austin, and Dallas as a top 5.
So if you better develop your LinkedIn, what you will find that I'm finding this year is that you're really able to engage with people for jobs. Mm-hmm. LinkedIn is a really good vehicle for hiring, and it's based on how many followers you have. So if you have a whole lot of followers, you get a lot of activity. You don't have to engage in the paid ads. I don't use paid ads, and we get like 25 applications for each posting we do. That's completely free.
And that's what I presented to you is actually without paid ads. We haven't moved into that yet, but you are absolutely right. We do notice that job views are the biggest views for LinkedIn. So,
yeah, LinkedIn's a great vehicle. So I know, aren't we using billboards, or did we stop using billboards?
No, we have those. We had 20 of them this year.
We're using the rotators, right?
Yes, sir.
So what I also found works really complementary with billboards is radio. I've experienced that this year. If you have radio ads and also billboards, people will be driving, they see the billboards, they also hear the radio ads. Have we tried radio ads? I see we have 193
spots. We were a little bit more heavily invested in social media and TV this year than we were radio. According to the media buyers, as they were coming back from COVID, they were just now taking off with the traffic again, which anybody who drives is kind of seeing that we have our traffic back. But yes, we had 193 radio spots. We had them on about 8 different stations. We tend to do adult easy listening and sometimes some NPR and things of that nature. So it's very targeted to our demographic, which is an adult, which is 1849 is typically the one that we go to, and we go to someone usually with higher education.
Usually just go the cheapest ones. That's what I do, and I buy as many ads as I can with the cheapest ones. So you aired 193 spots, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, we had 193 flights. So we did different flights on different radio stations. So if we were on Sunny for a week, it may have been anywhere from 10 to 20 spots that may have been on that flight for that week. And we ran radio concurrent with everything. So the campaign is multifaceted. It is not any one single thing. So we do billboards, we do TV, we do radio, and then we do social media, and they all layer on top of each other, just like you said. So if I see a billboard, I hear radio, I see an ad on KTRK during the news, etc. So the radio spots were flights of weeks, and we do them at 4-week intervals.
So for TV, what are we running on?
KTRK, it's called a 5-second billboard, and it is on the news in the morning and evening, prime time. This news spot brought to you by Harris County Department of Education, and then some slogan, see the impact, be the impact, we're exceptional, get hired today.
KTR, what channel is that?
Channel 13.
Channel 13.
Highest rated in the MSA.
That's the one I don't advertise on.
Because they're expensive.
But the way you get around that is, well, you buy the rotators, as you know that, but you reduce the size of your ads using the 5-second spots.
Correct. That's what we're doing.
And the 5-second spots are effective. So
and we get what are called fire sales. So KTRK's ad rep will call us and say, we have a fire sale. We're going to give you for $5,000. You guys can be on, this many times in the next 4 weeks.
Okay, so the trend with the TV, so you're using broadcast TV.
Yes, sir.
Right, so the trend, and I don't necessarily agree with this, but the trend is that there's more push for OTT, that's kind of where it's going to is OTT, even though I don't necessarily agree with, but this is what my marketers always tell me, is that it's moving to OTT and not necessarily broadband.
So the market research you're correct. The market research does say that OTT is increasing. However, for our demographic, we find that Channel 13 and the radio spots are more effective.
Are we engaging in OTT?
We have in the past, and we did not see the return on investment.
Okay. How do you quantify the return on investment?
For OTT, usually we look at we have to do. It's not a one-to-one correlation, as you know, so we will look at where our website is and what our traffic is, and because OTT is the digital ads on the apps. When they go into ABC7 and they see a digital ad, if they click on it, so it's digital, so it comes right to our impact landing page. So we try to see if there's a spike based on correlation of time, but traditional media is very difficult to make a one-to-one correlation of ad to behavior. We're looking at large trends.
Are we doing when you go to the website, they come back and you follow them up with either digital ads, or we aren't doing any digital ads?
Well, we're doing Facebook and we're doing Google PPC, pay-per-click. So we are not doing the targeted ad where if you are on my website and you suddenly show up somewhere else, an ad for Harris County Department of Ed shows up. I need to give you the quantifier on this. We are not a business-to-consumer business. We only have 2 consumption-based divisions. That's Adult Ed and Head Start. That means that the consumer, the public, can come in and use that service. We are a business-to-business model with most of our divisions, and so the awareness campaign is just a brand awareness campaign. We're driving engagement to get people to like and to know more about us. That's really what it is, but there's no direct correlation in terms of behavior.
Okay.
We
So
do digital ads locally and statewide with different organizations that we work with. So it's not on a broader. It's not as broad as what we're doing with the awareness campaign.
I understand. I use digital as a platform. I'm not a super big fan of digital. I think it's fascinating, and it's tricky. I think there is value to follow up wherever they go to your website and they see your ads for however many days. Okay. Oh, and I don't want to. I could talk about this for probably the entire hour. So 2 more things. We're not doing mail anymore.
We are. We have a mailer, and it's going to go out in August.
Beautiful. So I think it's wise for us to use mail because we can engage in the nonprofit rate of being
yes, sir.
an
We
organization.
have a nonprofit indicia, which is the bulk mail rate.
So just speaking to the board, I think, and to y'all, I think it's a good use of tax dollars because we can engage in the market for a lower than market price
Yes.
with mail.
At the quantities that we do, absolutely.
Do we use blogs?
Yes, we have a news blog that we use, and every time a news story is posted to the blog, it generates an email to anybody who has subscribed. So we add that to our SEO formula.
Are we utilizing AI for
I
generating
used
blogs?
ChatGPT the other day to do something for Convocation. It was quite interesting. We have not engaged in AI to write the blogs. AI is an interesting component when you're dealing with writing. It's actually quite scary when you start looking at what it can do. But I'm just going to tell you that I'm an old school journalist, and I believe nothing beats the personal flair. So no, we have not engaged in AI for the blog.
I would encourage you to look at AI. As you get more used to chatbot, it'll reduce the amount of time where you can, at minimum, can create a skeleton.
We will look into that.
Yeah, we've utilized it for our marketing, and we push 2 blogs a day, and we get a lot of return for that. So
Shelby, check into it.
Thank you so much.
And the
for all
videos
that.
are really good. The videos are really good.
That's really a lot of great information. Thank you, Trustee Dick. I just want to also say that I really appreciate having recognized the growth over the last several years and seeing all the different billboards and spots. I've noticed them. Of course, I'm looking for them more than the average person is, but I think it's recognizable. So I commend you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, President Duhan. I just want to say that 3 of my greatest expectations with our comms department is to be able to promote, respond, and inform. And they've done a phenomenal job in doing that. We take seriously branding and protecting the integrity of the brand. And I would say our comms and marketing department are at the tip of the spear when it comes to that. And they've done a fantastic job. And so I've thoroughly enjoyed working with them. So great job to you and your team. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item E, other reports from board members.
Yes, I'd like to take this opportunity to recognize Pride Month. As leaders and as elected officials, it is our responsibility to work together to protect the most vulnerable among us, and our LGBTQ students are certainly ones that fall into that category. So with that, I'd like to recognize Pride, and I would like to thank all of our leaders and advocates in the community that show up every day to make sure we are building a world where our LGBTQ students can show up and feel heard and seen and loved and supported, because it is only then that they can show up as their authentic selves, and only then can they achieve to their utmost ability, both academically and behaviorally. So thank you.
I deeply appreciate that. Thank you. I also want to give an accolade to Danielle Clark. Thank you so very much for the wonderful presentation that you put together for us for the Summer Leadership Institute. It was wonderful getting up there with you guys, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without the beautiful presentation which was created. So thank you very much. Anyone else? No. Moving on. We have a report of committees. Are there any committee chairs that would like to report anything? I don't think so. All right, and then we'll have the monthly finance reports by Dr. Jesus Amezcua.
Don't want to stay? Okay. The financial highlights as of May 31st. We have all our information and finance reports on our website. Our balance sheet total assets is $36,220,623. Liabilities of $2,636,288. Equity total $33,584,335. Our fund balance unaudited is estimated as of May 31st. Keep in mind that there's still 4 months into the year that we need to complete. It's $30,431,571, and we have approximately $7,665,271 that basically excess at this time, but that will be used between now and the end of the year. Our financial indicators as of May, we have unassigned fund balance at 37%, which were last year at the same time 39%. Working capital ratio holding strong at 34% versus 31% the same time last year. The unassigned fund balance ratio is the same as 50% as we were at the same time last year, and our debt to income ratio is at 6%, down from last year because last year we paid some one-time bonds that we retired, so therefore there was a little bit higher last year. Our tax revenue to total revenue is 30% versus 31% at the same time last year. Our indirect is holding up at 3% overall. There are some grants that provide us higher than 3%, others lower, so these are just averages, 3% of total revenue. Fee-for-service revenue, we're at 20%, which were exactly the same last year. Our growth revenue for fee-for-services now is expanding at 16%. We get more grants and more activity than we were the year after the pandemic. Our fund balance, on our budgeted activity, we had some amendments early in the year. We don't have any during this particular month. Our revenues, our inflows, as of May, we're at 84%, and typically at this time it should be at 75%, so we're a little bit ahead. Overall, among all funds, we're at 68% budget to actual. In terms of our expenses, again, we would be at 75%. However, we are under expense at 70%, so this is what we hope to do at the end of the year, have more revenues, less expenses, and be able to add to the fund balance. So we're at 69% overall. Our COVID-19 disaster relief, we have $482,240 in general fund, which we're going to already use for some of the incentives that were approved by the board about a couple months ago. And then $50,000 still available in the HHS grant from Head Start. Our donations for the month were $5,000 in May and $51,807.70 in in-kind, a total of $56,807.70. Primarily from Head Start activities, CASE, Center for Educator Services, and so those are all the divisions that they receive and the type of donations that were made. As we get into the tax season for property values, we started the year with $584 billion. We said that what was certified was $574, and we were going to get $11 billion in values. We are today only at $579, which means that it's about a $5 billion swing that is not going to be certified. So we're going to start or end up the year close to $579 at the end of probably August. That's if everything that is pending is going to be certified. So what would be the impact of that? That means that there would be an adjustment, roughly that we will not be able to generate about $900,000 worth of tax levy that we will not be realizing because of that. And we plan on some of that not being realized. Our taxes, our collections, we are at 99.7, so almost all 100%, if you will. We've collected except of 91,000, which I think we're going to collect between now and August. So we're at 99.1% overall, and we've paid the HCAT fees, 152,000, and to collect the tax, 518,863. Here's a comparison from a year ago. Last year, at the same time, we were at 97.4, collecting 25 million. Now we're at 27.5 and collecting 99.7. So better in the collection, better in the revenue as well. Our disbursements for the year are for the month, 6,289,371. Total of 561 transactions, 739 transactions, 6 transfers. The segment information data, Center for Educational Success, benefit variance of 1.2 million, records management, 440,000, school-based therapy services, 103,000, and schools at 1.3. The benefit variance for Choice Partners continues to be strong at 189% ratio, so that means that they have transferred 3,397,326 to the general fund from the funds that they've collected. There are no amendments as for the month of May. And then the financial position for the foundation, we have $655,251 in terms of equity, and some revenues that came in, some for EcoBot, 8,100 Head Start grant donation, and then we've processed scholarships, teacher and teacher of the year aid, and 1,200 in miscellaneous expenses. All the detail, it's attached, so I'm not going to go through all that detail. But basically, we still have $671,488 in the balance as of May 31st from the foundation and the different programs. In terms of the projects for the construction, the total CIP balance, the equity balance, we have in the PFC, $7,288,244, and the maintenance notes, $11,270,090. Out of that, what we have still, I'm going to make this a little bit larger so you guys can see the number better. $8,484,000 still not committed or not utilized or encumbered, and we have pretty much all the projects are in the 97, 94 85, 99% percentile, with the exception of Irvington that is about to take off here in the next couple months. So as far as the Irvington renovation, right now we have, after the architect, we have $9,865,358. And that's the report for the month of May. What questions do you have on the financial report?
On page 18.
Sure.
Can you just go over those differences again and help me understand where they're going to be adjusted for in the budget?
They're not, because we budgeted for 584 in the budget. What you see is right here. No, not right there. This one. If we had 100% everything, all the levy would have been brought in, then this number would have been but we already collected 99.7%. Therefore, we only need to collect 91,000 to make the budget. So we projected conservatively to make sure that we meet the budget, and so therefore that 900,000 is not going to hurt us. It's just we knew that not everything is going to be certified, So we set aside when we recommended in terms of how much revenue we need to project for the new year, knowing that not everything was going to be certified at the end of the day or at the end of the year.
Okay, when you were presenting it, I was thinking that you were saying that's beyond what we had budgeted for. Can you just bring it back to that page one more time for me? It's 18.
Sure.
Yeah.
So I think you were looking at this one. Oh, the next one. Yes, this is based on the most latest valuation, not 584 billion. And that's just taking into account if, say, for example, some of it does not get realized. What we budgeted was 27.7. If we get that, which we know we're not at this point in time, then we would have gotten $972,000 more.
Thank you. I misunderstood that was a what if we could scenario,
Yeah, right.
Okay, thank
Sure.
you.
Okay. The next one is the investment report. And again, all our information is posted on our website. Our investment policy, it is certified. And our portfolio as of May 31st is, let me get my colors. It's 60,784,509. And HCDE is 57,980,386. PFC has 2,804,122. In our report, pretty much all our portfolio is invested in whether it's an investment pool for Texas Class, Lone Star, Chase, Texas Star, or TexPool. So we try to blend it so that we don't have not in one area, so we have more spread it around between the different pools. In terms of how much we have in the PFC, we have that in the investment pool in the next slide, I'm sorry. We have TexPool 97%, and 3% of that is in Bank of Texas. In terms of the portfolio from a year ago, the difference is that we've spent 24% of the portfolio. That means that we've spent down a lot of the capital projects, and so the portfolio went down by $19,009,462. Our funds are pretty much overnight, and we were able to climb the ladder in terms of the interest rates, as you have seen. Now, the month of June, the Fed decided not to raise rates. They're probably going to do that maybe in the month of July, and so we'll see how they do that for the fall. So we've earned $1,514,237, and PFC $246,130. Please don't tell Mr. over here because he'll spend it over there on construction. We're earning 5.6% versus 5.1, the benchmark. And the rates, you can see those have been climbing now into the 5% area now in the month of May. Those are that's the report for the investment report. What questions do you have regarding the investment report?
Seeing none, thank you so much.
Okay.
Dr.
In your
Omasco.
package, I just want to take this opportunity. You have a copy of our budget. We will have a budget workshop next Wednesday, the 28th. I believe there's an agenda item coming up to move the board meeting date for July. So that means that the workshop and the hearing, we would move it up on the same day, correct? So that because we need to post it. We have to post 10 days before that. So at the end of the meeting, then we'll start getting the posting for the newspaper. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, moving on to our action items for the consensus items. Do any board members want to take anything out of turn? No. Yes. E1. Any others? None? All right. So do I have a motion to pass the consensus agenda? Motion made by Trustee Dick, seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. For the non-consensus, let's start with that E1. Consider ratification approval of the following items for HCDE Choice Partners Cooperative. Approval of the contract award for job number 23026KN for health, medical, veterinary supplies, and related items with the following vendors: Henry Schein Medical, a division of Henry Schein, Inc., NAO Global Health, LLC, Products Unlimited, Inc., and School Nurse Supply, Inc., for a period of 6/21/23 to 6/20/24. Do I have a motion? And a second?
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Hinojosa, seconded by Trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion?
Can I just get an explanation what this is for?
Yes. Health, medical, veterinary supplies. What we see at a lot of, especially K-12 and even counties and cities, they have places where they have horses, where they have whatever, agricultural supplies. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. I know a lot of these guys sell something. I'm just thinking off the top of my head, like a tractor supply or people like that, where instead of trying to always go out and buy onesie, twosie type things that they may use in some of these facilities, like people use the term ag barn. A lot of people have things like that. Well, they can go out and use a cooperative to possibly get better pricing and also make it compliant and not have to go to an RFP if it is a certain level, or have to go out for a number of quotes, and just make it a little easier for a lot of our members to buy some of the products in that sector.
Okay, thank you.
Is that good?
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
Any further questions?
Any further questions? Sorry. Okay.
Seeing none, call to a vote. All in favor, say aye. 6-0. Motion passes. E2, approval of the contract award for job number 23029. Sorry? Oh, did I? Oh, thank you. Right. 7-1. Consider approval of a 48-month lease for copier services in the aggregate amount of $201,504 with Xerox Business Solutions Southwest. Choice Partners 21031 KN 70, beginning 6/21/23 to 6/20/27, for a monthly amount not to exceed $4,198, up to 1,000 copies per machine. A cost per copy will be applied thereafter. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
And a second? Moved by Trustee Hinojosa, seconded by Trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Being none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor? Passes 6-0. 7.2, consider acceptance of the Office of Head Start Program Performance Summary Report 06HP000311 and 06CH011535 of the Harris County Department of Education Head Start Program. Do I have a motion?
So seconded.
Motion made by Trustee Brown, seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Motion passes 6-0. 7.3, discussion and possible action to adopt an order to increase the over 65 and disabled homestead exemption from $250,000 to $275,000 for tax year 2023. Do I have a motion? Seconded. Somebody gonna second these regularly? Thank you. Motion made by Trustee Hinojosa, seconded by Trustee Dick. Do we have any discussion? Yes.
Yes.
Can we get an explanation how this will impact our budget?
Sure. This would be basically neutral at this point in time, because as the tax rate gets adopted, the rate will basically be adjusted to be able to impact the values. It actually allows us to, when you look at the calculation, it helps us in terms of the calculations to have the effective tax rate. And so it will not have negative impact to the overall budget. The overall tax implications is about $91,000, and that would be shifted from the over 65 to basically regular taxpayers. So it's basically neutral to the overall budget. And it is inconsistent with the county and all the entities that they're utilizing or that they tax, so that we can have a consistent amount. And so they raised it from 250 to 275.
Thank you so much. Can we put it to a vote? All in favor? 6-0, motion passes. Item 7.5, consider rescheduling the July 2023 board meeting from... Did I really do that? Thank you. Consider approval of the lease agreement between Harris County Department of Education and Journey of Faith Church for an initial term of 20 years in the amount of $546,771 for Head Start Division to provide comprehensive services to infant and 4-year-old Head Start eligible children within Humble ISD for the period of 7/1/23 through 5/31/2043. Approximately 106 children to be served, fully funded by Head Start grants. Do I have a motion?
Seconded.
Motion made by Trustee Brown, seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Do we have any discussion?
So
Yes.
this is $546,000 for 20 years? Per year. Per year.
The term is 20 years, but what you have here is the first 5 years amount.
Questions?
Yes, there's a 20-year term that was required by Office of Head Start, and this is the amount for the first 5 years. There's an increase after the first 5 years.
Do we have it on record that what that increase is going to be?
Yeah, it's created
It's a
in the
schedule.
lease. It's a schedule that's within the lease.
Okay. And do we have comparisons of what we should expect based on other places?
When we were negotiating with them for the lease, myself, along with Dr. Mesqua and Ms. Marcia, we did comparables and went through the process of making sure that it was within that it was with the comparables and that it was the appropriate escalation.
Anyone else?
So will we revisit this after 5 years to review the schedule, or once we do this, it's agreed upon?
The schedule is agreed upon for the 20-year lease with incremental increases. I don't have it in front of me.
I do, Vanita. I pulled it up.
Thank you.
It's no problem. The rent is $10,782 per month for the primary term, which is years 1 to 5. So that works out to be $129,384 annually for those first 5 years. After that, it's a pretty small increase. For years 6 to 10, it goes up to $11,105.46. So that's an annual increase of roughly a little less than $4,000. And then years 11 to 15, it goes up to $138,596 annually, which is little less than a $5,000 increase. And then years 16 to 20, $145,525.95, which is give or take a little $8,000. So the incremental in those 5-year jumps are not very high.
So it's $10,000 a month, and it goes up to $11,000, and then it goes up to about 15.
No, 11. Then it from years 11 to 15, it goes up to $11,549.
Okay.
And then years 16 to 20, $12,126.
It allows us not to be dependent on the CPI because it fluctuates so much. Some years it may be 3, some years it may be 10. So this structure allows us to balance our budget better.
Yeah, so it's actually stated in the contract.
Okay.
So I have a question for you, Sarah. In this contract, is there a clause that allows us to terminate after a year, and each year upon renewal?
There is a non-appropriation clause. Hold on, give me 1 second. I should have printed this up.
So basically, if I get this right, even though it's a 20-year contract, there's a back door to get out of it after 1 year, and each year on renewal, I believe.
So we can terminate for breach, obviously, and then we can also terminate for non-appropriation, and non-appropriation not just being if the department fails to appropriate funds, but if Head Start fails to appropriate funds, that we can terminate effective at the end of any fiscal year of HCDE. And then, let's see.
So that's if we don't get reimbursed for the funds for it, we can terminate at any time, because this is a reimbursement mechanism.
Correct.
I just think the board always has concerns whenever they see a contract for a substantial amount of time. We get we get a little anxiety.
For sure.
So it's just good we have comfort knowing that if we aren't reimbursed this, we don't have to pay it.
Yes, and so there's an additional provision that says in the event that the prime contract, which is our contract with OHS with Head Start, if that contract is terminated, then we can immediately terminate the contract as well.
Okay. So we have ways out of it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But not if we just want to go with a different venue. That's not
right.
Okay.
Anyone else? No. Go ahead. Trustee Cantu.
Is the reason why OHS is, I guess, insisting on this 20-year term because of the investment that was made on the reconstruction of this location?
That's my guess.
That is correct.
Yeah.
Of the investment of the buildings that we're placing in that facility.
Roughly the total investment there?
A little over $1 million.
Oh, it was, about 1.3 million.
Right. And so if we happen to walk away for whatever reason, like Trustee Dick
we have to take
made
the
a scenario.
Out. We have to take the building out.
Oh, we do?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Because it's our building that
that's paid for with federal money.
We purchased.
Okay.
And all the playground equipment, too.
Wow. Thank you.
We probably do want a 20-year contract, because that sounds kind of hard.
It sounds like a great opportunity to be able to lock in some rates. Thank you very much. Okay, are we ready to take this to a vote? Yes. All in favor, say aye. 6-0, passes. And now 7-5. Consider rescheduling the regular July 2023 board meeting from July 19th to July 12th, 2023. Do we have a motion? Motion made by Trustee Brown, seconded by Trustee Hinojosa. Do we have any discussion? I think, there you go.
brought to my attention that several board members won't be at our next board meeting, which is a big one, where we're going to present the budget. Adopt the budget, yeah. So in an effort to be able to ensure that we create an opportunity to have as many board members present for that, we've decided to try to move the board meeting back a week so we can adopt the budget.
Any other discussion? Any questions? Okay, let's bring it to a vote. All in favor, say aye. Motion passes 6-0. All right. Item 7.6, election of board delegate and an alternative to the 2023 TASB Delegate Assembly. Do we have a motion?
We need to name somebody.
Oh, we do. Okay. Well, then let's move to a nomination. Does anyone have a nomination?
Who is it currently?
We have a nomination for Trustee Norris to be our delegate for 2023 TASB. Norris, that's what you get for not being here.
I'm here though.
Are you in agreement with that?
I don't mind.
Okay. You don't mind, or you'd like to?
So unless somebody else wants to see it, I've been a delegate the last maybe 2 or 3. I'm not sure if anybody else is interested in the TASB policies. Basically, all you get for any other board member that's interested, you get a chance to see the different policies that TASB is looking to pass, and some of them are interesting, more interesting than others. I think I spoke out against a couple last year, but if you were all interested, that's what it is. You get free lunch. So for those who are interested, that's usually where I go. It's for the lunch.
Did someone say free lunch? Will I have to be nominated?
I nominate Trustee Brown as the alternate.
So if somebody would like to make a motion to nominate
I accept.
Trustee Norris as the TASB delegate and Trustee Brown as the alternate, that would be a good motion.
I'd like to make a motion to nominate Trustee Norris as the delegate for TASB and Trustee Brown as the alternate.
Motion made by Trustee Hinojosa, seconded by Trustee Dick. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, let's put it to a vote. All in favor? Motion passes 6-0. All right, we have an executive session. I don't have the thing to read. Where is it? Thank you. Under the Texas Government Code pursuant to any and all purposes permitted by sections 551.001 to 551.084, including but not limited to 551.071, 551.074, we go to executive session at 2:31 p.m. Thank you. We're reconvening at 3:17. Do we have a motion for 9A, consider approval of the 9th Amendment to Superintendent's Employment Contract? Moved by Trustee Brown, seconded by Trustee Cantu. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, we'll put it to a vote. All in favor? Motion passes 5-0. And item 10, discussion and possible action regarding future agenda items. Does anyone have anything to bring up? Nope. Seeing none. Motion to adjourn. Motion made by Trustee Dick, seconded by Trustee Brown. Do we have any discussion? Seeing none, put it to a vote. Motion passes 5-0. We are adjourned at 3:18.